What's up everyone? So in this video we are going to set up Java debugging in Neovim. First of all, this is not going to be a complete setup, so I'll just set up the base and you can continue from that point. Then this is not the easiest way to set up Java debugging. There are projects like dap install or nvim-dap. If you are looking for an easier way to set up these, then use these plugins instead. Alright, let's go to home directory and show hidden files. Go into .config and I'm going to create a directory for Neovim called nvim. Inside that, let's first start setting up a package manager. So let's Google packer nvim and clone the project. Well, we need this plugin to be loaded every single time when we are firing up Neovim. So I will create a directory called pack. Inside that I will create plugins. Again inside that I'll create the start directory. So any plugins you put into this start directory will automatically be loaded when you are firing up Neovim. So I'm going to clone the project into that. Open up a terminal window, git clone and paste the URL. Once that is done, you can fire up nvim and run lua require packer. If you get no errors, that means you have installed packer successfully. Alright, now let's go back to my repository. I just created it for this particular video, and I'll go into init.lua, go to row, then I'm going to save this file into nvim directory inside config, and let's open up the file. Okay, I'll quickly explain what we have here. We have three packages we will be installing through packer. First one is lsp install. These features we used to have in lsp config, but they removed that, so we are using lsp install to install language savers. You can avoid using this plugin, but you will have to set up the language savers manually, but I'm going to use lsp install for this video. Then we have lsp config as a dependency of lsp install. Then we have nvim-dap, which is the debugger client we are going to be using in Neovim. Then we have some utils. This is how you would call a command in language saver. Then down here we have some commands we are executing, like start debug session. This is the command you would be calling in JDTLS to start the debug session. Then we have resolve main classes. In a project we can use this command to get all the main classes we have. Then using main classes we can resolve all the class paths for that particular main class. Then down here we have resolve class paths that will literally get all the main classes and resolve all the class paths for each and every main classes we have. Then we have get dap config, which returns a dap configuration, simply a table, something like this. We have name, project name, main class, class paths, and bunch of stuff. You actually don't need Java exec. You can remove that. If you can just run Java, then that would be enough. Alright, now we have onAttach. This is something you would have in a when you are setting up language savers. So this function will be called when you are opening a file. For example, if you are opening a Java file, this function will be called, and client the table. This particular table will have a property called name, which returns the language name. So if the language is the Java, then we are setting up the dap configuration for Java. I'm calling get dap config. Then I'm assigning the value to dap configuration Java. These are asynchronous calls. That's why you need to pass a anonymous function to get the results. Then we have the LSP shortcuts. This is where we set up all the savers, and then down here we have LSP config, and we are calling setup in each and every savers we have. Then again we have the adapter configuration for Java. We are when you are executing this continue function, this is how you would start the debug session. When you call this function, it will automatically call adapter function to initiate a debug session. So we are calling LSP command to initiate a debug session, and we are getting the port as a result, and I'm using that port to initiate a connection. Alright, down here we have some dap configurations. We have reader DC to start executing. Then we have toggle breakpoint using reader DT. Alright, that's pretty much what we have. I actually forgot one thing. This we need to actually load a Java debug plugin in order to use these commands, VS Code Java, these commands. We need to load a plugin to JDTLS. We'll do that in a second. Alright, now let's fire up Neovim first, and we got some errors. It's fine. Now we are going to call packer cker install. That will install 3 packages we have. Right, that's done. Now I'm going to install Java language saver. So lsp install Java. You can go to lsp install repository, and these are the available language savers from this plugin. So we are installing Java. For this you will need curl, I think so. So make sure you have curl installed. I think with Ubuntu you get curl anyway. So yeah, make sure you have curl. If not, this will take some time. I'll let it run and get back to you once that is done. Alright, the installation is done. Now if you want to locate all the packages we just installed, you can go to home directory, inside local, share, nvim, we have lsp install packages we just downloaded. So this is JDTLS files we have. Alright, now let's go back to nvim. Okay, now we need to install the plugin I showed you earlier, the Java debug plugin. So let me just Google this plugin and let's download it from Maven repository. Do we have? Yep, there we go. Go to the latest release. Actually it has no downloads. Okay, anyway, go to files and download the Java file, save, then go to downloads, cut the plugin or the Java file, then I'll create a folder, debugger plugin, paste the Java file. Now I need to get the location, so pwd. I don't need the home directory, so I'll copy up to this point. Okay, now remove what we have here, and so we are getting the home directory from this function. Now we need to include from .config to jar file. So .config nvim debugger plugins. Let's copy the name of the plugin. Do we have a rename? Yeah, there we go. And / paste the plugin name. Okay, looks good. Now close this. Now I'm going to open a Spring Boot application. I'll go to home directory. I have a sample project in my repository, so I'll clone the project into git clone, then the URL. Okay, we should have the project right here. Okay, now let's fire up Neovim. Then I'll open up the file, src main java. Then what do we have? There you go. I'm going to open up demo application. Actually, let's open up control. Okay, now that on-arrive callback will be gold, and here we is starting the language saver. This will take some time to download some stuff. Alright, the installation is done and we have the message debugger is ready. This is a print statement I have in the configuration. If you don't want that, you can remove. Yeah, it took like more than 10 minutes. Internet was slow and I don't know. Anyway, now it's ready. Now we can add a debug point. So we are in home controller and I'm going to set a debug point. It is leader dt and we have this leader indicating we have a debug point here. Then to start executing in debug mode, we are going to hit leader dc, and there you go, we have started Spring. Okay, now we have a get request with a query parameter name. I'll start up, open up another terminal and send curl request to http localhost. It is 8080 I think. Then let's add the query parameter question mark name equal okay, enter the name. Now we are in the debug point. We have stopped. You can actually configure the highlighting of this line and these icons and everything. Just check the dap documentation. Now we have here, if I hit DC for continuing. Actually, let me open the configuration so you can see. Config nvim and scroll all the way down to bottom. Yeah, there we have continue. So that's the keybind I'm going to hit. This is how you would start debugging, and this is how you would continue from the debug point. And let's open the console and hit DC, space DC, and it continued. Now it's back to B, and we should have the results here. There we go. Let's try it again, and we are in the debug point, and if I hit space DC, and we got the results. So that's how you would configure Java debugging in Neovim. If you have any questions related to any configuration related things, you can contact me, put a comment in the video. I'll help you with that. Then if you have any questions regarding configuring the dap or whatever, you can go to my configuration, github.com, my username, and .nvim. So the configuration is super organized, and you should be able to find what you want quickly. So we have plugins, and you should find dap somewhere here, nvim-dap. There you go. And you have Java configurations, and we have UI stuff. These are the custom letters I'm using. You need to install a nerd font, by the way, in order to use them. These are the highlightings we have. So I have red color for debug point, and different icons here. So additionally, you can install things like dap UI, which install a set of UI components that you can have. Then we have virtual text. It will show you the for example, the results of name variable. For example, it will show you right in front of the variable itself, so you don't have to hover over the variable to get the results or check the value. So those are the basic things you should know. And yeah, this is it. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.